Welcome to the Beer Can Cold Podcast with your hosts Will Merritt and JG Van Gran, a podcast where the suction line is always beer can cold. Take it away, boys.
Thanks, Bob. Hey, JG, push the damn record button. That boy is as sharp as a bag of hammers.
Well, that wasn't very nice.
That wasn't very nice. Who is this guy?
Man, you got to get your boy under control, Will. I'm not so sure about him anymore. So, okay.
Unkept.
We may as well just come out with it. Welcome back, everybody. I am live from the mobile Beer Can Cold studio. This is a studio that I've been working on and building, but that's why last week turned into a bit of a disaster. So luckily, Marty was such a nice guy that he said he would do this again, but we ran into many issues last week and then found out that we forgot to push, I forgot to push record. So I'm sorry, but here we are. The internet is now hardwired. We're good. My wife is wondering why there's a 100-foot cord running through her kitchen. I said, this is good. It's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And we're going from there. So, Marty, thank you for your patience and welcome back.
My pleasure. Good to see you guys.
So
where are you coming from today, Marty? Aren't you on the
Actually,
road?
I'm in San Antonio.
Oh,
in
awesome.
San Antonio, Texas. Yeah. Got a meeting with our part of our software team today, just looking at putting in some upgrades and stuff like that. And so I was glad to get done. As I was just telling JG, it's a full day of thinking, talking, and going over all that. So, when you get into one of these, it's an impactful day, right? You try to put as much as you can in a day, and then you spend the next 3 days of what you went over.
Yes. No, that's absolutely true. And the software thing, yes, it's a lot of meetings and it's a lot of thinking, but what end up happening, it's a very draining day at the end of it because everybody, there's a lot of creative ideas. I remember from that side of it, I actually really enjoyed it. But Marty, that's a great segue into, there's two topics I know we want to really talk to you about today. It's this software, because I'm pretty excited about the things you told me about it before and what we didn't record last week. But then the other thing is PM agreements, and I will tell you how maintenance agreements or club memberships for your company, and how timely this is, because my leadership team in our L10 meeting, which is a type of meeting we have through our EOS structure, one of the rocks that came out of it, one of the goals for the end of the year, is completely revamping our club memberships. And by the way, not calling them club memberships anymore, because that's a little frustrating, and there's some frustration there. But I think it's a great topic, and it's very timely for me personally. So, and I think a lot of people will gain a lot of knowledge from that. So let's deep dive into the software a little bit. Can you tell us a little bit about the software?
Yeah. So that was. I've been blessed to be in the HVAC business now for going about 32 years. Started in and have had a mechanical business, and like everybody else, gone through all the trials and tribulations, right? And they said when you first started getting into business, that if you made it through the first 5 years, that you made it. Well, that was some bad information. That was just an invitation to stay another 5 years.
Yeah.
Right. And so through all that journey, great. It's been a great journey. It's a great business. Learned a lot, met a lot of good people, and worked for a lot of good people. But what I found in there is, and being able to be in there long enough in there, is I dug into what I didn't know.
Yes.
Right. And
Sure.
and the a lot of information, and the leaders, and through distribution and manufacturing, and the people that you get to network with in there, they do the best to be able to give you that type of information, but yet you got to be able to know how to apply that information.
Yes.
And so, like everybody else's, I've got the stories too of being able to be successful, but more often not successful, right? And you try to figure out, well, how did you get yourself there? Well, one of the things it's in there is I be totally honest with you, I didn't know how to run my business. right? I knew how to work in the business.
I don't think a lot of people do, though, Marty. I think that, we talked just before Will came on board about what the demographics in our industry is, right? And so we talked about 65% of our industry is people come with companies, five people or less in the company, right? I can't speak to them, sorry. So that's the thing, because what we found through our research was most of the people, there's like 3 ways a company gets started. The first one, it's handed down generationally. So it's the breaking of bad habits and then coming into the way of like, hey, let's get some new ideas, new blood, all that stuff. So that's a challenge in those kind of companies. It's the private equity group or the people that have not been in an industry that's buying in. And then there's this guy, and he's the biggest part of the group, is I'm pissed off at my service manager, I'm pissed off at my boss, and I can go do it better, right? And so then nobody teaches them the business principles of it. They just they get to licensing, start the company, and then the bass boats and the F-150s distract them too much, and then they're in trouble, right? And that's really what our industry. That's the biggest issue, in my opinion, or one of the bigger issues in our industry, is not enough business training.
Yeah, and you can, number one, it's you got to you got to want to do that, right?
Yep.
The other side of that too is I don't think the schools were teaching that as well too. I mean, I learned trade, right? When I was in high school, I was able to learn the trade. I had 4 or 5 different trade classes.
Yes.
So by the time when I knew that I was not going to be college bound, and I knew where my talents were going to be and the journey that I was going to try to make it a success, is I worked into those talents, but they were more of a trade driven. They were not business driven.
That's correct.
And I look back at even the schools, and I've educated 4 boys, and look to see what they learned at the college level, and it does not prepare you.
It doesn't translate.
No, it doesn't.
To translate when you get out there, right? And so that school of hard knocks is really the ultra, way to find your education. Not a great way, right? And so, you forget when you're a business owner that you're not a tradesman much anymore, right? You're when you decide to wear that hat, whether you take it or not, you're a CEO at any level, right? And you kind of you don't really understand your job, so you just outwork the losses.
That's right.
Right. Yeah. And you put yourself in a position to try to eliminate the losses and the failures. And so after 2 or 3 of those knocks, and I was still able to stay in here, I fit that mold, JG. I was that guy, right? And you have to come to realization when you get to that point that, hey, you got a family that depends on you, and you got a family of people that are working with you, and you start looking at it's like, well, you know what, I'm not in charge, right? I'm responsible for these people. Mm-hmm. Right. It's like you took a whole different oath. You took and you just can't show up one day and say, oh man, I made the mistake, and I'm sorry, you guys aren't going to get paid to eat this week.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That doesn't happen.
That doesn't go over well.
Yeah.
Right. No. And nobody comes to work for you because they just absolutely love you. They like you, but if you stop paying, it's not going to be popular. So anyway, we got in, and so I started looking to see, okay, how does it make better sense, right? How do you run a better company? And kind of realization is like it all starts with sales, right? And not just sales, but how to sell, and what is the cost of sales, and what is the cost of a customer, and what is and so when you start looking at that, I started thinking, well, you know what? I did it all backwards. I bought the truck, I bought the tools, I put the place in there, and realistically, if you spin that around, that the day you open up, you put the key in the door, none of that is needed.
No.
You don't have sales.
Right.
Yep. None of that's needed if you sell at a loss, because when they come back to catch you. So I started looking, and I couldn't find the tools really in there that showed you to do it, how to do it, what to do with that. And they gave you software, but it was kind of like built in, and you didn't know how you got to the price, and you didn't know the process in there. So I decided to build Praxis. That's and awesome. Praxis is the Greek word for process. And I shouldn't use the word we. I put a really good team together, and we basically set out a journey to make sure that we started in showing the process on how to get to that sale, and then how to present it, and then how to be able. The end result is your consumer got the biggest win out of it.
That's right.
So that's what we did, right? And we put it, and we started into the flat rate, and we put it in the residential and commercial flat rate service, and we built the calculators in there for everybody, right? And when you start looking at about that 60%, and you're talking about a guy and 5, and that's a company,
Yes.
right? And those 5 people that are in there are expected to work in that company, and they're expected to learn something by there. And sometime down the line, they want to be empowered, right? It's like, I'm not just giving this person a price for a capacitor and a contactor. At some point in time, and I want to be able to develop, why did I give them the price, and what's the value of that capacitor and contactor, right? And so when you start learning, and if you know it, I just started realizing, man, you teach this now, right? So that you start looking at, like, you're going to hold all this information back from people, because if you think you're going to give it to them, they're going to learn it themselves, and they're going to go out and try it. Well, what happens if you don't give it to them and they stay?
Yeah, it's just as bad.
Right?
Actually, it's worse.
Yeah, right. And so, and so now you owe that to them in there. So with the software that we put in there, we built it in the tools. We built it again at the flat rate, and then we put it into the retail presentations, and we put it into all of the calculators that build all of the job costing, and we did it in there's a pricing and sales process for everything inside the company, whether it's residential, rooftops, units, package units, IAQ products. But the calculators, the business calculators behind everything in there, is worth the price of admission. Yeah. Right. It's like, we didn't do anything that somebody else already didn't do at the end result. Right. I didn't reinvent the wheel. Only thing that I would say that we did different is we provided the process. Right. And now that if you're a customer of ours and you're using our tools that are in there, is you can see what your company can run on. You can see the targets you're getting ready to go. But what I realized was that if it wasn't built, that it would be hard for somebody like me, not wanting to do it, to put in 12,000 edits to be able to build the processes to go in there. So I would say the mousetrap that I think that is built a little bit different is we built that process. Yes. So when you get the tools from us, it comes filled out with your name in it, right? It comes out with the links to your website. It comes out already filled out the way an HVAC contractor runs their business, and all of the defaults are in there for you to be able to review. And then you can change however you like. But here's the crazy thing that happened. When I dug so deep into this in there, a very high percentage of our users and our customers and contractors never change it. Yeah. Right. It fits. I bet. It fits. Right. Yeah. And it's like your business, Will. It's like when somebody gets that aha moment of why they're doing it and why they're marketing in there, you're not going to change what works. Yeah. Right. And they're comfortable because it's what you do every day. It's not somebody trying to tell you to do something different in there. So it's been big. It's been a very interesting journey, and now, as we're getting ready to start right now, we've joined another team that is now got in FieldSoft. We've got the management side of it.
That's awesome.
So we're now getting the bridge. Yeah. That what I was hoping to build is that bridge that you have a very, very good operating pricing and sales process, and now bridge that into management to where now you have the best of both worlds in there, and not have to give up, and understand what it takes to run your business, and in an easy way to manage your business too. So.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So I'm a contractor, and you give it to me. It's set up with all my information, phone numbers, website, logo, all that stuff. So how easy, how hard is it for me to go in, update equipment pricing, change margin percentages, overhead percentages? Take us down that road of like making changes. Is that done by the contractor, or is it an option for you guys to do it for them, or what? How's that work?
Both. Okay. The support is at the highest level, right? Okay, so we have several distributors and manufacturers, and you and I work with McCall's, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. We did a couple of trainings with over the fall, right? Mm-hmm. And the one thing that you want to try to do within there is work together with different groups like we are now and then support them at that level. So one of the biggest things as a problem is updating equipment, right? In the last 3 years, we went from COVID to SEER 2 to A2L.
It's a mess.
Right? And so now you start thinking of that large group of people that are in there. Now you've gotten pricing adjustments that are going through the roof. Now you've got lack of equipment that is now you're starting to have to juggle and fireman control on. And now you've got product changes that are coming, and then the pricing changes that are coming. And so it's hard, right? So one of the things we said is look, we're going to do it for you. Is all we really need is, it's a basic spreadsheet, is a model number and a serial number for your equipment. That's it. And if you put us in touch, and for the distributors that we work with, their folks provide that for us on behalf of their customer. And in less than 30 seconds, we're updated.
Yeah. So what's the turnaround time on that?
Less than a phone call. I mean, it's literally a maximum time. By the time we get the price to the time it gets delivered to that customer, it's under 3 minutes.
Okay.
So it's all the SKUs. And then it updates the whole entire process, right? So any documents that they've created, any sales documents they've created, have updated them both in today's updated pricing and how you delivered it before, so you can see it in different, right? But as far as all of the defaults behind what you just asked, changing margins, changing hourly rates, it can be done at the job level, or it can be done at the level when you set up a template process in there where it comes out. So the opportunity to be able to change it's seconds, right? The process of where to know to go to change it is very, very simple, right? And like, I'm a contractor. The big thing about it is it's that KISS theory, right? It's got to be simple. Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah. It's right. It's in big letters. It's in big blocks. And if it is ever a question, our support is like running an HVAC business, right? If somebody calls, they got a problem, right? They don't want to be called 2 days from now. They don't want to be called and said, put just let us know what you have, and we'll have somebody call you within 24 hours, right? Yep. Be called right now.
Right.
And so our return process is instant.
So, Marty, I have a question. Do you guys do training with the technicians, with the salespeople, to kind of walk through the process and how you would like for them to use your software? And it's a loaded question because I have a question after this, but I'll let you answer first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, it's the one thing that I've always looked at in there too, is you don't want to be overbearing and be able to go. So we offer the training as much as they will allow us to do their training. And we've got some that come into Atlanta and train with my team.
Oh, wow.
We've got some that come down and bring, their team down with me, and we'll train with that. And then when I'd love to do more. And it's not really more of a Praxis want to, it's more of the customer. When do you want to do more of it? Right. And so there's so much to do, right? Because we can train through there on how to have technicians selling, right? Because they're really not selling. They're providing the information that's already been built.
That's right.
Right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So, and the training is, and I'll say this very humbly, is my time is never really spent on software, right? My team answers those type of questions. We don't have a lot of software questions. We have a lot of training questions.
That's
how
right.
do you do this?
Good.
What do you do if I put these together in there? What was a process of going back? So it's a lot of process questions that I'm running into.
Well, and so the reason for my question is just back a little bit on the service side, right? So something that we just did, we had to build some templates for our plumbers in their price book and so forth, and we weren't descriptive enough, so we got a lot of pricing pushback. So now we got more descriptive. We're working with the guys on establishing the value. But one thing I think that a lot of contractors are struggling with, and something that we had to struggle with a little bit, is there's a lot of keyboard warriors out there now, a lot of customers that go online, find out what a capacitor really costs, and then want to know why you're charging $325 to put in a $5, $6, or $7 capacitor, to the point, and it became such a frustration that a while back my service manager went in and said, nobody in this company is to use the word capacitor again. We will now be calling it, whatever he decided to call it. And I understood what he was trying to do, and he's trying to teach our technicians to build value. But how does your coaching go into that, right? Because for me, it's like I have to then explain to the customer, listen, the truck, the insurance, the overhead, all those things is what you get in that capacitor price. But I'm interested in how you would handle that.
So great question, that's the age-old question in flat rate, right? Too.
Yes.
And number one, I say this when I go back in and I tell people, and it's look, nobody cares what you do until they're perfectly comfortable on how you made them feel.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And if you start thinking about it, we're one of the only professions that actually broadcast and speak our culture. Yes. Still today, right?
Yep.
Where else do you go by that you can't see the options? Where else do you go by that you can't see? So I would say sometimes we put ourselves in our own predicaments.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And so if humbly, I would say that if you speak, it's a cost. If you can share, it's value. Mm-hmm. So in our practice tool, we put our flat rate tool to where it should be shown to the customer every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you can see a whole all of the tasks, even ones that are not included for you right in there, and there's a series of tasks attached to the ones that your capacitor and contactor and a complete startup. When all of those three go back in together and it gives you the total cost of that is now what you're looking at is it's not somebody going back out there and saying, hold on one second. And they hear you say, hey boss, they want to know how much 2 capacitors are. He said $429, right?
Right.
It's like, you kind of lose. That's the empowerment.
Yeah, it's a big house, boss. They got 2 nice cars.
Yeah.
Oh, it's $640. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, he said, oh, you know what? They wanted to know if would they get a discount if I put in the condensate pump.
Yep.
Right. Well, show them the discount through your maintenance plan, and you show it over there every time. That when somebody says, well, why are you charging this much and it costs this much? Well, I can give you a discount today. I can give you 15% discount, and you'll be in our least costly, most popular in the pricing column. And here's where you'll always be, and it's in a highlighted yellow, right? And this is our protection plus maintenance agreement customers, right? And you share the plan. But in our tool, I put a task in there: provide customer, install customer provided capacitor, and we go at it like this. Same way you just said. I just looked it up online, and that thing is $7.59 on Amazon. Mm-hmm. And I tell them we have Monday mornings. I call them Tell the Truth Mondays, right? And we go over conversions of our maintenance plans, and we go over talking through those type of the speed humps, right? And I share them and say, look, don't deny anybody that right to be able to do that, because newsflash, the internet's here,
and it's not going away.
Right?
By the way,
it's not going away. No matter what you call it, it's not going away. And then when they find out that your flux capacitor that went in McFly's thing that you're putting in over in here, find out that that's not what it really is.
Yeah. Then
you got to, and so I just go back and say, okay, that's no problem. I'm not sure where you're buying that from, right? And I'm not sure where you're version.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm not sure where you're returning that from. But my first suggestion would be is make sure you turn the power off before you put it in, because it's high voltage, right? And today's charge is going to be, as we told you, that's a $98 destination, our destination service fee, plus our diagnostic that we went through then. So today's charge is going to be $159. And then you can get your own capacitor. And if you'd like to give us a call back, and we'll have just our simple destination fee to come back. We'll look to see to make sure that you got the right capacitor, and then this is what it would cost to install it.
Yeah.
And if you add all that up, and I put that in as a task in there.
Yeah.
It's going to be a higher percentage if you go with your capacitor and you want us to do it.
Yeah.
But if you want to do it, go ahead. But there's no warranty involved in there. So with all of that being able, I can stop you from having to go through all that chaos. I'll warranty it for the year, and we'll get it put in today.
Well, the other thing we did is we said, all right, hold on. And this is what we're trying to get through to our techs, and it's actually working really well right now, is don't just change the damn capacitor and roll. Like, I know the capacitor's swollen. I know you see what you see, and I know you have a couple more coils to go for the day, but just don't. Take your time, change the capacitor, wash the coils down, check the charge, make sure the filters are changed, look at the indoor coil. Let's give the value of, what's really worth that capacitor, because yes, that is part of what's built into that price and should be. When we leave, the customer shouldn't expect us back until their annual maintenance. There should be nothing in between. And what really highlighted this for us is there was an underlying issue with a compressor, so it busted the capacitor. They changed the capacitor, rolled, and then very next day it was back to the contactor was welded shut. So it's like, okay, we would have done much better by actually digging in, finding out what the real root cause was, and not just, doing the capacitor, and the customer would have been happy. So
Right.
that's building that value is what we work with our team on, and it's working. The team understands now that every time you get an opportunity to go to a home, you need to do the best you can to leave it in such a way that you may never come back. And that's what's right by the customer.
So you just described our culture, right?
That's our culture too.
And we go a win plus win equals win.
That's right.
Right. And you have to put it in that order. And right. And so when we're discussing price of a capacitor, then you have to take the time to explain your value, right? Because in order for the first two wins to happen, in order for the last win to happen, those first two got to win. And so the first win's is always got to be the customer.
Yes.
Right. They're not always right. Right. But the first win has got to be the customer. The second win is going to be my team.
Yes.
Right. And your coworkers. And the third win is going to be the company. Right. And if you can't mix up that order, you can't the one win and then go to number 3 and skip number 2. You can't do 2 and 3 and expect to be successful when you flip that order. So when somebody would ask something like that's okay. You're okay to ask that. But the answer really is what I just said in there. But more importantly, what you just said, you make the call valued, and it's the right thing for the customer, right? There's the right thing that goes along with that, and nobody's going to disagree with the value because that's what they're buying.
That's right.
If they see that, and if all you're going to go back in there is go change the capacitor, you're out in 10 minutes. Well, you brought that call on yourself.
Yeah, they go, wait a minute.
Information to yourself.
I see those reviews all the time.
All the time.
Software reviews, we get copied on everything. Well, the service was great. They repaired my unit, but the guy was here or the girl was here for 20 minutes, and I got a bill for $325. And they go, well, wait a minute, and that's like I said, there's not enough value being conveyed there and shown to the customer. Like, why? Hey, here's why you called me, and here's why I came out, and here's the value I gave you. This is why you want me back.
Right. And it's not that hard. And here's the thing I would tell you. When you start looking at those in there is we're at a disadvantage. And we bring a service unlike most service providers. If I brought my car into the mechanic, I don't know how long it took him to change out the radiator, right? When they have all their stuff in there, it may take him 10 minutes. When by the time the radiator gets there and they're already equipped, I don't know how long they took to work on my car. You never get to question that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But you never get to question the doctor and the doctor's prices because you don't see the processes of what's going on and the prep going on. We're live stream. As soon as we put in, they're looking at the van and and everything's on the clock.
That's
right. And how fast can he get in and out?
Yep.
Right.
That's true.
And then when you do it fast and they're happy that you do it fast in there, it costs too much. If you're there too long, you didn't know what you were doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right?
It's a no-win situation.
Right. So it's a medium of information, value, and you just can't speak it. You got to show it.
Well,
right?
it's part of that soft skills training. It's
Right.
part of the finding those technicians that makes a customer feel at ease right away. That their disc profile is a certain type of person. They like to be meticulous. They like to put the customer at ease. They have good rapport. That's really what it's all about, is finding those unicorns and putting them together on a team, and then just managing the team and do soft skills training. That is so easily said and so not easily done. Right? But that's the goal.
wouldn't you agree that we all still need that all that training and that reminder?
Yes.
Right. And to kind of tail off on that, what we don't do really well at as contractors, we don't meet anywhere near enough.
No.
Right. We've got, I met with our software team today and we met for 9 hours straight.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever met with my mechanical team.
Yeah.
And now we do, but it would be like, if you did 9 hours, that was 9 hours in 2 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, really.
I actually,
you meet with
They're too busy. We can't have them come in. They're working too hard.
You can't pull them off the road. So, I started calculating all those things and I'm thinking, man, you're the least common denominator.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
You're the problem.
Yeah. We
had
our plumbing meeting this morning. Sorry to interrupt you. We had our plumbing meeting this morning, leadership meeting this week. So we actually, EOS wants us to meet weekly with leadership. I can't. So we do every 2 weeks. But in that week, we call it L10 week, leadership 10 week. And so that week, every department has their meetings with their team. So we at least sit the team down twice a month. And then with our technicians, they have at least 1 to 2 one-on-ones with the service manager or the field manager every month. And so there's, Marty, I'll tell you offline because our customers or our listeners are tired of me talking about the processes, but I've unchained ChatGPT and what it can do through disk profiles and one-on-ones. I'll share that with you off air, but it's like, the coaching and the one-on-one meetings, yes, I know it's expensive to pull them out of a truck, but you can manage it. And the payback on that is so much greater. Our average ticket has jumped hugely since we started doing one-on-one training. And before these damn TikTok haters, which, yes, I went and read the comments the other day and I shouldn't have. I had to take a blood pressure pill afterwards. But before those,
TikTok.
Oh, yeah, dude, the comments were insane. But once those keyboard warriors get off their asses and listen to what I'm saying is, no, we're not out here teaching our technicians to go take advantage of every old lady in town. We're saying when you get the opportunity to go fix someone's air conditioner, do it properly and tell them everything that's wrong with it, charge for everything that you're doing and leave the house. That's what we're saying. And we're asking them to do it 5 times a day. And yes, I know you're in Oklahoma and you can run 8 calls a day. Good on you. I guarantee you're not as profitable as my guys are, and you're not as thorough, and you have callbacks. And so, sorry, I got a little offended in the comments the other day. But my point being, having meetings is a very valuable thing. It's a part of coaching, and it's a part of soft skills training, which we as an industry do not do enough of. We do not do enough soft skill training.
Yeah, and I'm a sayings guy, right? And I love empowering, I love motivating, and obviously, as you can tell, I don't have a problem having something to say.
Yes.
Right. And so, and I don't think anybody's really made up. Well, no, we borrow the sayings, right, and then we put them in there. But I think I came one, and I did have one that is mine, and I live by it. And it changed the way I do business, and it changed the way I looked at these meetings, and commitment, right? And it's like the difference between can't and won't is can't's a physical disability and won't's a choice.
That's right.
Right. And when I found out that when I kept saying that I can't have a meeting because I can't have those guys out of there, well, then you turn that around and say you won't have a meeting to educate those guys of what the culture is you want to do it, and you won't do it because that's more important to have them out there. Just say it.
That's right.
Right. It's like, so now I just changed those around and says, no, I won't have a meeting. Well, why won't you have a meeting? Well, because I need them out there. Well, what if they don't know exactly what you want them to do? Well, osmosis is a good trainer.
Yes.
And it's like, no, it's not. It's like, then nobody, you can, and I've been accused of, maybe I'm thinking it and they're supposed to understand what I'm thinking. So now I go back into as a lack of communication is the responsibility of the communicator.
Yeah.
So exactly what you're saying is like, that's so important, especially if you have tools.
Yeah. A friend of mine, he manages a large company in Greensboro. He told me the other day that they do a 30-day onboarding process, no matter how technically savvy the tech might be, but there's no ride-alongs. He said, I don't need the tech to learn from someone else how to go buy coffee and where to buy it.
Right.
So they stop for the most part with the ride along. So I'm trying to get there. We're building our lab and our training facility up, and I'm hoping to get to that point where ride alongs won't be a thing for us. We'll put you in a truck and you go do you, right? And take all those bad habits out of it. And we have great employees, but everybody has that one little thing. And so that's normally what your trainee absorbs, is that one little thing. And now you got 4 guys stopping for coffee when, that's okay if they do, but you know what I'm trying to say. It's like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And it goes back to the beginning of our conversation in there is like, if you really think about it, nobody cares how good you are.
Yes.
Until they're comfortable in how you made them feel.
Or
so we can,
not. Yeah, that's right.
We can talk all day long how good the technician is, but if that customer didn't feel wowed, he's not going to be. He's going to fix a problem, but he's not going to create a solution.
That's awesome.
Right?
I agree with you 100%. So this is a great segue, and we're going to come back to your software at the end of the podcast and just tell people where they can find it and find you.
Sure.
But I want to switch gears a little bit into maintenance agreements, because I think this dovetails really good into our conversation right now. Marty, you're a big believer in them, and I think you built your company around them. Tell me a little bit about your belief system around PMs, maintenance contracts, whatever you call them, and your belief structure and how you do those.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to give a caveat when it comes to this in there. I started the first part of my career not knowing on how maintenance plans were supposed to be run.
A lot of people
don't. Right. So I bought into the point that, hey, everybody else is doing them. So I just called around and started asking, what are you charging for maintenance plans? And
wow, that's never been done before.
No.
Nobody on this podcast has ever done that before.
So you get going in there, and then you buy into, there's some really good leadership out there, and Ron Smith,
yes,
right?
Great.
And I started looking, okay, these guys but I couldn't understand the pricing of the maintenance plan, as opposed to why would you go out there and do that for that price, and then you're not making any money on it. So, and then I heard a lot of them saying, and they're saying, well, that I didn't buy into, but I just wasn't sure why. But it's like, okay, if you did maintenance, you were there to keep your technicians busy, right? You had an opportunity to keep technicians busy. Well, the more I started doing that, and more of the costs were in there because there wasn't a good driven process while you were out there. And so we fell into that, well, we didn't even clean the coils much at that point. That was an extra charge, right? When I first started doing these. And so when you go out there and you just give it the clean and you just go through it, the last win, you make the first win, the last win, and that type of thing, right? So kind of fast forward after when I made some mistakes in the new construction side and found that, I wasn't really built for mass into there, I started changing the company back over into retail. I got with a gentleman that was a master retailer in Jackie Rainwater, and I had spent thousands and thousands of dollars going through different seminars and different things in there. And, when he started bringing up the maintenance plans, it started bringing the things we were already doing, but then he started giving me the value in the maintenance plan. Once I understood the value of what you were doing out there, it started becoming increasingly obvious that it had everything to do with some of the marketing and stuff like that you were doing. So we made that the crown jewel of our company. So everything that is talked about, everything that is driven around, it is around making sure that we can convert every demand customer into a lifelong protection plus customer.
Yep.
Right. And what we found on there is when you put that win plus win equals win together in there, and you provide that first customer the win, that a high percentage, and ours is in the mid 80s, that they don't even get second opinions, right? They're now your customer. So it's
Why
not
would you get a second opinion?
There was no need.
Right? I'm not going to go get a second opinion. Like I said, I take my car in. I'm not going to go, hey, I'm going to go down the street and get a price for tires. Some people might do that, but I trust them.
I don't have time. Sorry. Too busy.
Yeah, exactly. I'm too, and that's what I say this a lot, but I think our world worries so much about price and they don't understand the busy consumer. If you can go in and build that trust quickly and the rapport, like you say, in JG and Marty, the soft skills that, price may be questioned, but if you provide enough value, it's easy to overcome that. But again, consumers are busy. I don't have time. The last thing I always tell our team, that's a lot of them are still learning HVAC, they know marketing, but I'm like, the last thing a homeowner wants to do is have a 90-degree house in the summer and have you come out and they go, nah, I don't trust you. Go on. And I'm going to call somebody else. They want it fixed and they want the answer and the service to be done and move on in the rest of their busy life.
Right. And, and here's the thing when it goes, that all makes sense. And that all aligns. And when somebody would say that to me before, that if you got their maintenance plan, they're going to trust you. Right. Well, what did you do to get that trust? What was it that you did differently than everybody else is doing to get that trust? Well, it takes work, right?
It's not easy,
but you gotta know what you're working for, right? And so when you put the win-win-win in there, is they've invited me 3 times. Well, they've invited us into their home to be able to provide the service that was needed and provide options that they could use, need, or don't know anything about, right?
Yeah.
So when we went and started looking at that, I got so enamored. And, when you first find something out that you think, okay, I just found something out and it's the crown jewel. And I'm looking around.
Oh, Jerry. Oh,
does anybody else know this?
Yes.
If not, right? Mm-hmm. So now where we are with it now, it's like everything we do is based around that maintenance agreement customer, right? It's like when you go there to be treated is like, don't be late, right? They've scheduled time and they've pre-scheduled time. You've got to recognize that, and you've got to allow, and you've got to speak to them, right? And you're going to be able to share what is when there. Give them the documents, give them the diagnosis, give them the good reports along with the needed pieces that go along. But it's that relationship that we got in there, and they're our customer, right? And that that you're going to see that customer every time. And what we did that was kind of unique, that we had a discussion, JG, that I completely agree with. The success of a maintenance agreement provided to a consumer is so valuable to the consumer and so valuable to us, the contractor, that I could give it away. Right? Is now we have a customer. We have a customer that we don't have to fight through the static. Obviously there's no value in free, but the cost of the maintenance plan is not the value of the maintenance plan.
That's correct. That's my next question was going to be is, we like to use the word loss leader, but it's not true because of the value of the maintenance agreement, but they're not very expensive. You don't have to tell us what you charge, but it's not an expensive arrangement, right?
No.
Yeah. And so I have a couple of questions around that. Number one, do you give the customer the opportunity to pay monthly for those? That's a big thing in our industry now.
Right. Yeah. I don't.
Okay.
I don't. I know that it's been done and it works for different folks.
I have mixed feelings on it. I really do have mixed feelings on it. My team really likes it, and I see the value in it. But I'm a little bit on the fence. So the other question I had for you was, there's a contractor that I'm pretty good friends with in Virginia, and they charge one price for a house, no matter how many systems are on it. And so their thing is that this is how much it costs our technician to get to the door, and now we're going to start giving the value to the homeowner, no matter if they have one system or 3 or 4, it's one price. How do you do add-on systems? Do you charge a little bit more for those, or is your pricing structure kind of that same philosophy?
No, that's an interesting. I have not heard that one yet.
He's very successful with it.
We start off with, what's that?
He's very successful with it.
Yeah. So obviously the opportunity is to get the relationship.
That's correct.
Right. And what the value of him getting that relationship in there, I think that's very unique. And I got some time to think about that. Obviously he's thought through that.
He did.
Right. And I would say just out of what I know, what I get in return with that value of that customer, I can see I wouldn't have any problem offering something like that. right? But I don't at this time right now. Is I have, starting off at one system, and then we give a discount for the second one and an additional discount for the third, and and sorts, just so that people can see if I got one system, I'm not paying for what somebody else is.
Yeah.
Or something else in there. So, and that's how we do it. Right.
And do you have more than one plan you offer, Marty, or is it pretty much one plan and that's the company's plan and we move forward with that? Or do you have different options to your plan?
Used to. I used to have different ones going there. It's too complicated.
Yeah.
To me, it started complicating the mission.
Yes.
Right. Is I want to be tuned into our customers. And that's one of the reasons why we do annually in there is obviously there's we get an annual cost to get it all in, and there's a limited amount of billing that we have to do in there. But it's a physical, you're touching that customer, you're speaking, you're talking, the banking business is less the relationship. Everything's online, right? And so we're still being able to go back in. It's a minimal cost, but it's a time for us to bring the value of what you're getting in there. So that's, that's what I think, right? I still think there's an art to staying involved with your customer and bringing that value. And when it comes time to renew, the whole team is on renewal.
Yes.
Right. Technicians or their dispatch. And then if for some reason they didn't do it, then we send the invitations out. We don't send, shouldn't be an invoice. It should be an invitation to make sure that we keep it back up. So,
and I think the art form is double fold there. I think the art form one is the culture you've built around that. But then the other piece is to get your technicians buy-in and their coaching to say that, whatever percentage you use as a KPI of maintenance as we go on, we need to find something. And it's not driven to the point of saying we're going to take advantage of the homeowner, but we all know and understand the percentage of bad capacitors, bad contactors, pitted contactors, those type of things out there, or customers that doesn't have IAQ products. So there's also a training and a philosophy around core values for us saying we're here to be honest, but we're going to provide you with options. And none of our technicians are hard sellers. They just offer that option. But there is coaching and there is reminding and there is, hey guys, IAQ is down. We're still running the same amount of calls. It means we're not giving the options to the homeowner. Let them make the decision. So I think that the training is twofold. It's with the company buying in that this is our lifeblood. And then it's also a buy-in to create the revenue, to create the system referrals, those type of things with your technicians without them feeling like they're pressuring customers.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And, again, I know it sounds it goes back into that win-win-win, right? If a technician wants to be able to create more revenue for himself, he's got to be able to create more opportunities for the company.
Correct.
In order for the company to do that, we've got to be able to provide opportunities for our customer, right? So it all goes in that. And we kind of got to think, we're not going to sell them anything. We're going to give them opportunities to be able to purchase and we do a disservice if we don't do that.
Yes.
Right?
I was just going to say, if there's a homeowner listening, you need to understand what we're saying here. We're not saying for our technician to go out and find blood in your house. We're saying, what is the failed contactor costing you on a Saturday afternoon with 10 people in your house over to watch the football game versus catching it on a maintenance when we're saying, hey, this thing's going bad, we need to address this before it actually leaves you out. Because on the weekend you have emergency service calls, you have all these other things going on. You're at the mercy of being 10th in line when it's 90 degrees outside. This is not a bad thing. This is a good thing. This is what you want us to do. You want us to maintain your equipment properly when we're there.
Yep.
Yeah, and the big thing when you start looking at that in there and you start is those are the minimal things that everybody that one that gets executed the most in conversations,
of course,
right?
Yep.
If you start really looking at it as the worst thing probably in everybody's home designed is probably their heating and air conditioning system.
That's correct.
Right.
It wasn't done
so
right.
When you first go in to look at that is right how it's filtered, the gaps in the duct,
High
right?
static.
High static.
Mm-hmm.
But here, most importantly, like zoned,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You start thinking of things like, okay, in your life, if you were to go in your lifestyle and using things that are zoned with more than just one switch,
Yes.
right? And then
lights in the house. Every room has different lights.
Go.
I don't have the lights
Plumbing.
on in my office right now. I'm in the kitchen. I do have lights on here. I don't even have lights on anywhere other than the kitchen and one in the
Yep.
family room behind me.
But if it was designed the same way your heating and air was,
Yeah, every light goes on the house.
whether you needed them or not.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
So it's an opening that the normal consumer is just now buying houses, and that's what you get.
Yes.
And they may not even know that you can actually go and take those bedrooms and not waste the air all day long by not having it run in the areas that you're in, right?
That's right.
And you start looking at things like the minute things. It's like there's zones in a sprinkler system, right? Because the amount of water that it would take to water the backyard would drown a flower bed.
That's right.
Now you can go in and buy a mattress and get it heat and cooled,
And so,
one side or the other.
yes.
And you've got more zones in your mattress than you do in your home,
Yes.
right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So
Crazy.
when you start looking at those things that are in there, those are conversations, right? And at some point and someday, at some time, somebody's going to say, you know what, that bonus room is extremely hot.
Oh yeah.
But you know, I saw on the back of Protect's van, they got a picture of a zone system in the back of there, and it says comfort anywhere you want to.
Yes.
And they said, why would you? And he's been saying that he could get that room comfortable. Well, what did it cost? Well, I didn't ask him.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I agree with
He's
you.
comfortable.
Yes.
So,
No, I think.
but I will tell you this, going back into the maintenance, if you don't mind me asking,
Okay.
and then the power of these in here right now is we go 3 times a year.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So we do a air conditioning, a heating, and a bonus, right? And when you start looking at that, is like the first win to that is obviously going to be our consumer. Is like we're going to be able to catch a system when it's under a load, not just in the fall and just in the spring.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you asked these questions in there because these are powerful things, you know, for any company, but more importantly, especially the consumer.
Yeah. So I'll tell you a little bit about how we get around only running maintenance spring and fall. We created a PM department, and a PM department is where we bring our young guys in. So we have this program where we're bringing in guys from the community college. They give us 4 hours during school and 8 hours out of school. We give them a work van, we give them a uniform, and we pay them. Obviously, they're our employee, but we bring them in young and we teach them our culture, and they tend to stay, which is amazing. Like about 60% of my techs have never worked for another company, but we bring them through that maintenance department, and that's where they start, right? And we work with them. Now, what has happened is I have one guy that's amazing at maintenances, and he's amazing at offering them and offering the stuff. And yes, he's a good tech, but he's actually come to us and said, I really enjoy doing this maintenance thing. I have my customers and I enjoy coaching the young guys up. Guess what? He used to be a police officer. So he understands that coaching piece, and he understands the body language, and he understands. So he's teaching these young guys the stuff at home, and it's been really good for us. But that's how we get away from the seasonality. We run PMs 365. And so, and so we really try to do that. But what we're thinking about, and I want to get your input on it, I don't know if you offer plumbing, but we just started a plumbing department, and I'm playing with the idea of having 2 HVAC visits a year and 1 plumbing visit, where the plumbing is a free whole home inspection. And if they would like the water heater drained, we charge for that. But then that does put us in a house 3 times a year, but with 2 different trades. So I wanted to get your input on that.
Absolutely. If I did plumbing, I definitely would do that.
Right.
Most definitely.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, is to get in the home 3 times a year at least, or a minimum, so that we can catch things as they're going on. What's up, Jackson?
How you doing, buddy?
I got to come over and get a bite of this pizza I've been heating up for him. It's killing me.
Yeah, we're almost out of time too. But no, Marty, I think that the maintenance agreement thing I can talk about for hours. And now that we're on the precipice of like kind of rethinking hours, and we're a big company and we do a really good program, but I think it got to be a little cumbersome, a little confusing, too many options. I think we're thinking about streamlining it. We're thinking about actually, listen, why do we have one plan with chemical core cleaning and one plan with only water? Let's just do the chemical clean. Let's just get it done, right? And
who was discussing that? One plan, make it simple.
That's right. And so I think
all these options.
That's the way. But then the other thing is how do you turn that bounty on, right? Everybody in the company get a spiff for selling one. The installer, anybody in the company is now on a bounty, right? Let's go find them. And let's build some fun programs around it. So I have a 3-phase approach to this. First phase is to design it. get it through the leadership team, get everybody's input on that. The second one is looking at implementation, because now you have to go in and look at all these other plans that's out there that you have. How do you combine them in? How do you let those customers know there's not only one plan, some things are falling off, some things coming on, and doing that streamline really well. And then phase 3, the excitement. And I just called phase 3 excitement, because it's like now everybody has to have, let's go find the bounty. Let's go do this thing. Let's set some goals, and let's make it fun. So I think
make it lifelong customers, right?
Yes, absolutely, and that's how we're going to build the value of our company. So I'm pretty stoked about this process, and I think I want to once I get it all ironed out, I want to email it to you and see what you think.
Yeah. And once you start doing it, and I'll tell you, that's my marketing plan.
Yes.
We spend more time and effort and dollars on the customers that we already have.
Yeah.
Right. And
you should.
And we truly want to get family, friends, and acquaintances that anybody that either had a bad service or needs a service or wants to have a relationship in there. That's truly what we want. Right.
Yes.
And when you can get others and customers to broadcast that with you, that's where the spiffs go. Yeah. Right. It's not only it goes to the team, but also goes right back to our customer. Right. It goes back in the form of a thank you and gift cards. And if we get multiple ones in there, products.
Yes.
Right. It's like the more that you can get people that understand and they want to be and they know that you want them to be your trusted service provider, and what that means and what that feels is now it starts to grow, gradually, but it just keeps going.
Yeah, I agree. Marty, tell our listeners where they can find you and the software, and how do they get a demo from you? How do we make this happen for you?
Yeah, so it's real easy. It's very easy. It's the name of the company is Praxis, and you can find us on praxisgroupinc.com.
Okay.
And there's a couple of videos in there that give you a little bit of information on there. You can certainly reach out to us and do the old-fashioned way and give us a phone call, and we're on the website in there, or you can just click a button on there and we'll give you a call back. Obviously, we're not going to do anything that's going to be up your backside and going back in there. It's very, very low key, and any information you want to get. And if you just want to talk, give us a shout.
We'll do that. Marty, I'll also link it in the bottom of the video so anybody can click on there. And so I would like to have you back. I think you're an amazing guest on our podcast, and I would really like to discuss these things with you more. Well, thank you for finding Marty. This was a really cool podcast.
Yeah. No, it's been great. And we all align. He and I spoke on the phone the other week, and it's just, we all have the same passion.
We do.
Right.
We absolutely
we know this industry is a great industry, and we just all are trying to raise it up, and so it's just always good to speak and converse with someone that feels the same way you do. But to the listeners out there, Marty reminded me to do this: like and follow us.
We don't do that.
I talk to so many people. Oh man, I've been listening to your podcast. I'm like, well, like it. Take the thumb and go. Follow.
Please,
so we would really
like and subscribe.
If you like and follow us, on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. We're on all those places. All you got to do is Google Beer Can Cold Podcast, and we're going to come up. Absolutely. So we would really appreciate it. Like I said, anybody wants to come on that's out there. We always, it's so funny. I'll talk to somebody, and they're like, "Oh, hey, when do I get to be on there?" And I'm like, I had no idea you knew about it, much less wanted to be on it. So, hey.
Well, Marty,
there we go.
Thank you again. I know you're traveling, so have fun tonight. Go enjoy a lovely
Love San Antonio, by the way. My oldest stepson, he graduated from Lackland.
Okay.
He was in the Air Force Reserves, and we got to go down for his graduation. This was 12 years ago or something, but we met, just everybody we met in San Antonio was so friendly.
Yeah.
Great now.
Well, enjoy it. Go find yourself a really good steak tonight in Texas. I heard there's a lot of them there.
Or some Tex-Mex. There's good
Tex-Mex. I think we're doing. I'm meeting the rest of the team out there for that. So you
there
can
you
go
go.
to Antonio with a little bit of that. But I appreciate it, fellas. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to meeting with you again. All right.
Awesome.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, Marty. Thank you, everybody, and we will be back next week.
Take care.
Thanks. Thank you.
Good night.